With everything going on right now and some of the adjustments that we have made to our daily lives, how are you helping clients with their real estate needs?
Thanks a bunch for asking. Yes, real estate is still happening. People are still buying and selling homes. And fortunately, we have the technology in this age to be able to do things a little bit differently.
Jennifer, how is the real estate industry able to serve clients with the current precautions in place, such as social distancing?
Fortunately, 98% of buyers are already searching for homes online. So I'm just stepping up my game and doing virtual tours, giving people an opportunity to look at homes in a different way that can't be there physically. And if they do have to come physically, taking extra precautions with cleaning and sanitizers.
So, Jennifer, for people that have questions or are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, how can they contact you?
You can just give me a call at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
Do you want a custom themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Well, look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. Every design has you, the fan, in mind. Their tumblers and bottles are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the market. From stainless steel sippy cups to tumblers and sports bottles, Game Time Sidekicks offers something for the fan of all ages to rep their team with. They have many different logo options, so fans will have something they are proud to carry around all the time. Use promo code Swain at checkout to get 20% off of your entire purchase at GameTimeSidekicks.com. They also offer $5 flat rate shipping. Be sure to check out the Game Time Workshop on the website and customize your tumbler to make it one of a kind with things like your nickname, number, or initials. Game Time Sidekicks. Show your colors and carry your team.
Craving flavors that don't take hours in the kitchen? Mrs. Grissom's cheese spreads and chicken salads are the perfect go-to. Ready-to-eat meals and snacks found in the meat or dairy section at your local grocery store. Whether you crave the classic Mrs. Grissom's pimento cheese or the gluten-free select varieties like the cranberry pecan chicken salad, enjoy small-town flavor in every bite. Select the best. Select Mrs. Grissom's.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Make you want to dance right here. Ben, that doesn't mean that you need to start dancing. I want you to go to urgent care or the hospital.
Wouldn't be the first time that you have taken me.
Oh, yeah, it is right. It wasn't your fault, though, because people can't drive.
Nope. And technically, you did not take me. That was a memorable day, July 13th, 2000 and golly.
How was it your fault?
Because my wife was on the road because of me. I did not have socks to wear at the wedding. So she went to the mall, got me socks, and was on her way back to the church to drop off the socks when she was rear-ended. So technically...
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Like,
I know.
Yes.
But you were so kind to come and pick us up and go drop us off at the hospital while she got checked out.
Yeah, technically it's not your fault. Should you have had your socks? Yes. I would have just rolled without the socks, but whatever.
I don't do barefoot.
I know, I understand. But the lady rear-ended y'all, so it's her fault, not your fault.
I'm still mad about that. Like an 80-year-old grandmother trying to light a cigarette in a Ford Ranch. When you reach a certain age,
looking at a sign or something like that. I mean, I think that my first combine. So my first combine, yeah, baby. I'm in Houston, H-Town. And so we are. We picked up by the team leader at the time, and we were in a van to be able to hold all the coaches. So we're in a van, and this is like my guy right here, man. He's a Jersey guy, and but he has like he's really smart, very, very, very organized. He is OCD to the core, but he also has like anxiety. And on the road, he was like looking at the signs and like looking at the scenery while he's driving. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? You need to have your eyes on what's going on in front of you, because it's like traffic. It's, it's standstill traffic. It's, lanes moving on the other, other side. Like, you need to be paying attention. Remember, we like, we were almost late for, wouldn't get into an event. But again, like, you gotta pay attention when you're on the road, period. Looking at billboards or on your phone or trying to light a cigarette. You gotta pay attention. But yeah, I do remember taking you to the hospital, and hopefully I don't have to take you again if you just not dance, because it looks like you're gonna hurt yourself.
My dance moves are popping, Swain. Why don't you worry about not stepping on your phone out in the parking lot, and I'll worry about my dance moves?
I didn't step on my phone. A car ran over my phone.
That's even worse.
Deal. 865-255-03. Chip Payne, what kind of relationship does Tennessee have with Cody Brown, the running back from Parkview High School? We'll see.
According to Austin Price, a good one, if I remember correctly. AP said it.
Is it good enough to commit?
I mean, it's trending that way. Not saying that he will pick Tennessee, but to where he would be comfortable going to Tennessee. If I remember correctly, AP said that Tennessee was probably in his top 2 at the moment. I believe with Georgia was the other school maybe, and because he had mentioned Georgia taking the 4-star running back Carroll last week.
Mm-hmm.
So he thought that might mean something. But Tennessee's in a good spot to land Cody Brown, the 4-star running back from Georgia.
Yeah, I know Tennessee's going to take one more running back, and you already have a speedster there in Jalen Wright from Durham High School there. No, Southern High School, in Durham, North Carolina. So that other running back, will it be him?
Hopefully, Jalen Wright is more productive than the last Tennessee athlete to come from Durham, North Carolina.
I don't know why you bullying that young man. Why do you do that? He didn't do anything to you, Ben.
Yes, he did. He missed a bunch of shots for my favorite team. That's what he did.
Justin says Massengill's transfer is pretty telling, especially when she leaves to go to Kentucky. If she felt we were on our way back up as a program, I think she would have stayed. Also, go back and look at how many point guards have transferred out in the last decade. It's very odd. I think the first sentence I agree with. Massengill's transfer is telling. But that can be an indictment on her and not necessarily Kelly Harper. Like, we're going to know a lot in the next 12 months about, okay, what was the reason why you transferred? Because if she gets to Kentucky and she's having issues there too, being coachable, then we'll know, okay, maybe she just can't stay in tough coaching. If Kelly is known for being really, really, really tough. I haven't figured that part out yet.
Based on the multiple people I have talked to, I do not feel weird about Jasmine Massengill going to Kentucky or Zay Green leaving from the Kelly Harper perspective. Like, I don't look at Kelly Harper funky based off the people I have talked to.
Okay. I'm saying for in Justin's seat.
Right.
In Justin's seat, I think some time will go by, and if Massengill is like thriving at Kentucky and
and doing a great job, and you can say, okay, well, either Massengill, she matured, maybe the atmosphere, she needed a better place to be, a locker room, whatever, or it could be something with Kelly. I know you just said that, from people that you have talked to is nothing on Kelly. Are we at the point with the Lady Vol program that if it was something with Kelly, people would tell you?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, because
which is fair.
The Lady Vol program, and other programs, the other programs around here, we kind of protect our own. Football is a program that if something funky going on, people will talk and people will tell you the truth. I know it was a while before we started hearing a lot of things that Holly Warlick was doing wrong. Because that program just had this pristine gloss about it. And it took a while for more people outside that bubble to start to see it wear it a little bit. Again, I'm not trying to say that Kelly is wrong in this. I don't know 100%. I'm just trying to look at every single point of view. Maybe it's a situation where it was just best for both parties. Tennessee will go on to be a better basketball team. Kentucky will go on to be a better basketball team. Massengill will go on to have a better career. Sometimes that happens. Also, sometimes over time it reveals, okay, who was the problem? If you have more transfers, or if Massengill goes on and she's successful and happy at Kentucky, then that might tell something too. But
the way that it was described to me was that the players on the way out the door did not sign up for the demanding nature of Kelly Harper. That was the way it was described to me.
I talked to a former Lady Vol player, and what I was told was that these players don't like to be coached hard.
That's essentially what what I was told.
Yeah.
That they did not sign up for that. That they signed up for their own set of rules, which, if you remember, the problem with Holly Warlick and Diamond DeShields was that Diamond DeShields had her own set of rules, and the rest of the team had a different set of rules.
Correct. But the player that I asked, I don't know if biased is in play here. If you ask
That's
me,
fair.
if you ask me about a program here, I'm going to tell you the truth because that's just what I do. You go ask another former player, you get them in a radio interview. When things are bad, they'll still pick Tennessee to beat Georgia. I remember when Travis Stevens did that. When we had him on, he picked Tennessee to beat Georgia or Florida or Alabama, one of the big three. And I was like, okay. But that's just his love. That's his bias. He's supposed to be biased. So, I don't know if, that Lady Vol that I spoke with was just being biased and not seeing that maybe Kelly was doing something wrong. That was just one opinion. So I need to maybe hear some more. But it's not a good look. And Massengill shouldn't be the person that we look to tell our future about this program. Justin says if she felt like we were on our way back as a program, I think she would have stayed. I disagree. I disagree
I disagree with that as well.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, top recruits can pick Tennessee for the reason that they feel like we're on our way back as a program. Massengill transfer just means that she just doesn't want to be a part of it. And even if we were back, doesn't mean that it's in her best interest for her career to be a part of it. That's all that means. But we can take a break now. Sorry, DJ Swain, you was playing your music, and I didn't take a break. I saw you looking at me. I felt you looking at me like, come on. I was trying to finish my point. We got For What coming up next.
for what is coming up on the Swain event.
Guys, Low T Center is open for normal business hours, including Saturdays. Their goal is to help you be the best and healthiest version of you. And right now, if you are concerned with social distancing, Center can help with at-home treatment options for current patients, and they also have great options for new patients too. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy to take care of your health. Most health insurance is accepted. They'll even help verify it for you. And just a reminder, if you're feeling bad, have a fever, or travel to high-risk areas, please stay home. If you'd like to learn more about getting a comprehensive health assessment, be sure to call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388. Or you can schedule an appointment online at lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, T. Kell, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. T. Kell and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suit your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
B-Dry is celebrating 60 years of protecting homes across the U.S. They are the basement and crawl space experts. There has been historic rainfall in East Tennessee recently. If you are experiencing wet foundation walls, puddles on your floor, or water where your floor and wall meet, then you should call B-Dry. They have over 500,000 customers nationwide. B-Dry gives free estimates for all homeowners, financing is available, and if you mention the Swain event, B-Dry will give you $500 off a full perimeter basement waterproofing solution. Wet basement? Better call B-Dry, 865-588-0454 or online at bdry.com.
There are articles and news stories that you read.
Swain event, welcome back. We had Clint on the line and we had Big Orange Mac. So we're going to push for to the next segment so we can get in our callers. Clint dropped, though. He was a first-time caller. Man, Clint, sure wanted to hear from you. But Big Orange Mac, slide on up to the number one spot. Big Orange Mac, good morning.
Good morning, Benjamin. Good morning, Jay Swizzle.
My man.
Blessings, King.
There was I can't remember who said it or what, but, when Pat died and, Holly took over, they said Pat was, the ruling fist. Mm-hmm. And Holly was the good cop. Mm-hmm. Pat was the bad cop. Okay? Mm-hmm. And Holly never really could fit into the bad cop role because she had always played the good cop. When Pat would get on their rear end, she kind of coddle them and console them a little bit. It's going to be all right. And there's no offense to anyone, but there's an old saying, you can't let the inmates run the asylum.
Yep.
Okay? You can't allow that to happen. Now, this is around about your time when you was at UT. There was rumor going around that, when Kelly Washington come to UT, things started changing in the locker room a little bit. Attitudes, the players was all about them. That's just rumor. I can't say for sure, but that was the rumor that was floating around amongst us fans. Okay?
Yep.
But you can't allow the inmates to run the asylum. And if they don't want to be coached the right way, they want to be coddled. No offense to the younger generation, but that's their attitude now. They can't handle somebody, that's hard on them. They want to be coddled. They want their ego stroked. They want to, they've been told since they were 5 years old how great they are. That's their mentality now. And if you don't want to be coached the right way, then by all means, get out. Bye, Felicia. I mean, it's a hardball world out there. Outside your bubble of where you grew up, of where being told, hey, man, you're great, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. There's people out there that don't care about you, and they will take a giant dump on you and won't think twice about it, okay? That's life. Get used to somebody being hard on you. When I got I know, jobs and college ball is different, but really, in my opinion, being in college ball is a full-time job, in my personal opinion.
It is.
My crew leader with the job I got now, he was hard on me. And there was days I went home, I hated that joker. But at the end of the day, he said, you may hate me, but you going to learn today.
That's right.
And I did. And right to this day, if that man calls me, I will run through a block wall for him. Believe that. So, like I said, if you want to be coached, if you don't want to be coached, and I think, dadgummit, not Holly, but Kelly, sorry, she's got that old Pat in her, and she's going to coach the right way. If you don't like it, get out. Gentlemen, y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Big Orange Mac. I agree 100% with you. And if I had to pick one side here between Massengale and Kelly Harper, I would pick Kelly Harper. But I want to talk through it. I just didn't want to jump straight to conclusions and go Butch Jones era route where everyone just picked the coach just because he was the coach. No, grown-ups make mistakes too. Grown-ups are human. But in this case, I'm going Kelly Harper based on what I heard. And maybe it will be a situation where Massengale will go on and have a productive finish to her career in Kentucky. I hope she does. Hour 3 is coming up. Swain event fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Peter Millar, and all those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union has helped people save money for almost 80 years. Whether it's free checking, financing a vehicle, or purchasing that new home, Alcoa 10 is here to help you. Better rates, better service. Check them out at atfcu.com.
Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Member NCUA.
You're listening to the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com.
There are articles and news stories that you read about the things that people do. And when you're reading those and you start to shake your head, you start to scratch your head a little bit. You get confused. You don't understand why. You start to ask questions. But really, there's only one question that matters. What is that question, you may ask?
For what?
There's no doubt about that. And so a lot of meetings are done with programs like Zoom, Skype, Facebook Live, FaceTime. A Florida judge, of course we in Florida, has one request for attorneys showing up for court hearings via Zoom. Get out of bed and put on some clothes. Broward Circuit Judge Dennis Bailey made The plea in a letter published by the Western Bar Association's news outlet reported, "It is remarkable how many attorneys appear inappropriately on camera," Bailey said in the letter. One male lawyer appeared shirtless, and one female attorney appeared still in bed, still under the covers. Judge Bailey isn't making exceptions for lawyers lounging in the Florida sunshine either. Quote, "Putting on a beach cover-up won't cover up your poolside in a bathing suit." Since courthouses shut down on March 16th to actually slow the coronavirus pandemic, the Broward County judicial system has held about 1,200 Zoom meetings involving some 14,000 participants. Bailey, for one, said he won't hold a complicated trial over the Zoom conferencing site, given the technology's shortcomings. Often, lawyers are not looking at their screens, but down at their files, their outlines and notes, and simply out the window, and cannot see the judge is hollering, "Stop, stop, stop," because an objection has been made and the audio stays with the witness rather than obeying the judge, he said. So there's been some shortcomings there with the Zoom program with trials, but these attorneys, put on some clothes at least. Get out of bed at least while you're doing your Zoom call for work. So that's my for what. Being any for what's your way.
Nope.
You are a lawyer and you don't have your shirt on during a
Quit being nasty.
Zoom conferencing trial. Man, if I was that lawyer's client, man, I would feel so embarrassed. I would know for sure I was gonna lose. Big Orange Mac had a really good phone call.
Yes.
The word is de-recruiting. And I'm sorry, that is a real thing. And I remember we had Butch Jones on the show before. And I asked him about that. Specifically about de-recruiting. Do you know what he said, Ben?
I do not.
He tried
Probably something stupid.
Yep. He tried to make it seem like that it's not necessarily de-recruiting. It's not a real thing. We don't call it de-recruiting. You know how he would try to change the meaning of something unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
He would do that all the time. Depth chart. It's a depth chart. You know where you are in the pecking order. If you are the first team offensive lineman, offensive tackle, you are going to be in the number one spot. There are winners and losers in sports. Guys who start the game and play most of the game, guess what? They're in the number one spot. You remember what Butch Jones used to call depth charts?
Organizational charts.
Organizational charts. Dude, it's a depth chart. That's what it is. When Mike DeBoer first got here, Tennessee's offense coordinator, and there was a press conference introducing Mike DeBoer, and Mike DeBoer was asked about a description of his offense, and Mike was like, "Yeah, spread offense." Do you remember what Butch Jones tried to call it? He didn't want people to call it a spread, so he called it a power. It's a power spread. It's not. Dude, it's okay if it's a spread offense. When you play a team, you punch them in the mouth, and they'll realize that your spread is not like a weak passive spread. It can still be a power. But he tried to change the meaning of something. I don't know why he spent so much time and energy doing that.
Too much.
So he did that. We talked about the recruiting, because Tennessee at a time was recruiting fairly well. And every coach has to do this. Every coach at the college level has to de-recruit. Every coach. There's a period in which a recruit is being pursued by a college staff, is being sold on their school, and there's things that during the recruiting process that's not the same as when you get to school. It's just not. So during the recruiting process, it's all about you. It's about how we can help you achieve your goals. It's about what we can provide to help you be a better athlete, a better student. It's our perks that we can provide for you. And then when you get to school, you don't get the same treatment. You don't get to go to a fancy restaurant every week. Your parents are not flown to Knoxville for every game. They don't make a jersey for you with your name on it just so you can see it. You can't try on the uniform and take photos and post it on social media when you sign. It's different. So there's a period that comes after us telling you how great you are, how much we need you, how we love you. Golly, Bush used to tell every recruit he loved them. How we love you, how we need you, how you going to come in and do this and do that. There's a time right after that, that's the de-recruiting time. No, you got to fall in line with the team now. It ain't all about you now. Recruiting is 100% about you. When you enter the team setting, it's not all about you. Is it about you? Yes, it is about you. But it's not all about you. You have to fit in with the framework of the team concept. It's not all about you. So there's a de-recruiting process that goes on. I went through it. Other people have went through it. Some people have not been able to make that that adjustment. Some freshmen walking around like they still 5 stars. No, you're not a 5-star anymore. You got to practice hard. No, you don't get whatever number you want. And no, you don't get whatever locker you want. You got to go earn that now. You are the lower man on the totem pole. And Big Orange Mac is 100% right. But I think there's a fine line. Some coaches can handle it. Some coaches can't. When you have a player like a Kelly Washington come in, and, I mean, he's the best receiver in the country at one point before the neck injury. He is breaking records left and right. He's a grown man. And things that I heard, yeah, I mean, he was about Kelly. He wasn't really trying to go to class like that. And it impacted the dynamic of the football team. As a coach, you got to be able to make sure that the culture with your team is not impacted, that's not affected at all or compromised. But at the same time, understand that this individual player, he has personal goals for himself too. You have to make sure that he's successful, because now you want to go and attract the next individually talented player that can come in and achieve all his individual goals and also win for the team. That's one thing that Nick Saban's been able to do. Urban Meyer has been able to do. Dabo Swinney is starting to do that now. You can't let a good player crumble the castle. You can't let that happen. And Pat Summitt didn't let that happen. There's a team out of Huntsville, Alabama. Back in the late '90s, I was in middle school. I was in 8th grade, actually. And there's a team, Butler High School, Huntsville, Alabama. They were on front of a Wheaties box, the women's team at Butler High School. I watched them beat a team by 100 points. Ben. 100 points.
Is ridiculous.
100 points, Ben. That was a margin. No, I'm not saying that the team scored the 100 points. I mean they beat a team by 100 points. The score was like 120-20.
It's ridiculous.
Every player in starting five signed a Power 5 Division I scholarship. They had 7 or 8 girls sign D1. Their best player came to Tennessee, Tashika Morris. She didn't last. She transferred out. This was when Pat Summitt was running the show. This is when Tennessee was at the height, competing for championships and winning championships. That's the thing you got to do in recruiting, Ben. You got to de-recruit these young men. Because think about like all the attention that they're getting right now. Got Austin Price calling them up. They're doing highlight videos. You got these random fans willing to do edits for them. How silly is it to release a top 16? Man, get out of here with all that. But these recruits have people that are like, hey, I'll help you with your edit. Release the top 16. Hey, my team is one of the top 16. I'll help you with your edit. And whatever you ask, you pretty much get as a recruit. Hey, follow me. Help me get to 2,000. And then fan base help them get to 2,000 or whatever. They get pretty much whatever they want as a recruit. And then when you sign, that goes away. You're used to getting things a certain type of way, and then it's not that way at all once you sign. So now you got to let that player understand, man, don't walk up in that locker room thinking that you untouchable. Like I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. God rest his soul, but my roommate, my old roommate Daniel Brooks, was a 5-star linebacker from Jackson, Tennessee, came in, and the de-recruitment stage was an issue. Then hazing was going on. They don't haze anymore, but 03, we hazed. 03 and 04 were the last 2 years that we did it. We hazed. And, boy, Coach Fulmer used to set us up big time. Set us up. And I remember coming in as a freshman, and Casey and Rick was like, hey, man, just keep your head down, work, because there's a day and 2 days in fall camp where you're probably going to get dunked in the ice tub. It's the hazing event. Everyone that's new, coaches, faculty, and the more you talk right now, the worse it's going to be. So just go about your business and just do your work. But there were some guys that came in running their mouths. There were some guys that came in that when they signed still thought they were that same recruit. And that rubbed the current players wrong. All right, we're gonna see how big and bad he is. And so you got to prove yourself as a freshman. And I remember Daniel came in. He was that 5-star player from in-state, all the love from West Tennessee. And the de-recruitment was just, it was tough. And how Daniel coped with that was he put himself in situations where he would get into fights when we were out and about, trying to fit in and earn respect, in addition to trying to earn it on the football field in the weight room. But he tried to earn it socially, getting into fights. And a lot of our teammates respected him, and he earned that from him on that side. Former Vols too. But it got him in trouble, eventually dismissed. He had to transfer. So I've seen the de-recruitment process. I've seen it. I've been through it, but I've seen it. You know, for 4 years at Tennessee. And Big Orange Mac is right.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I thought the biggest thing that Big Orange Mac hit on was that, and this is in reference to the Lady Vols, but Holly Warlick was the good cop, and I'm not going to sit here and just pile on Holly Warlick, but that's not Kelly Harper's game. She is not going to play good cop just for the sake of making you happy. She is all about disciplined and doing your responsibility and doing it the right way, and there is no leash on the rope. I mean, it is a tight ship all the time, and you saw, in my opinion, the team as a whole respond well to that this season. I realized that by Lady Vol basketball standards, this season wasn't necessarily, something to brag about, but in areas I thought you could see the team get better by the way they interacted with one another, by the way they played defensively, by the way they rebounded the basketball. And even to a certain extent, at times, the turnovers went down. Now, it's not where it needs to be, and that just speaks to how much they were turning the basketball over. But I'm not looking at Kelly Harper weird in any of this. I did at first, but after kind of hearing some things, and then some things have come out publicly about the players that are transferring, I mean, I think the writing's on the wall as to kind of why these players are transferring. If it were freshman Tamari Key, who Kelly Harper signed, then okay, sure, I would look at that funky. If it were Emily Saunders, who was a freshman this year, or Jada McCoy, a JUCO signee from Knoxville, then I would look at it funky. But I don't. So I know you were talking about football, but
no, it's the same.
This conversation started via the Lady Vols, so that was how I tied it in. But I think that the Lady Vols are going to be okay under Kelly. I think it'll be just a question of how successful they can be under Kelly. Can she get them to the point to where they are back winning national championships? That is the unknown. I think, bottom line, the floor, they will be a good basketball team once she is able to repair relationships in recruiting, and once she is able to get her players and more talent in here. I think a lot of the turnover issues also have to deal with talent, and their best point guard being a freshman in Jordan Horston. I think as she gets older, the turnovers will naturally go down as she becomes more comfortable. Even as an example of recruiting relationships being kind of in a poor state is you had Anastasia Hayes, who was a point guard second to last Holly Warlick season, and she transfers to MTSU, does great things at MTSU. But Anastasia Hayes had a sister that was arguably better than her, Madison Hayes, who is, I believe, the Gatorade High School Women's Player of the Year in the state of Tennessee, and she just went and signed with Mississippi State. You know why she signed with Mississippi State instead of being at Tennessee? Because the relationships weren't where they needed to be. That is not on Kelly Harper. And so for some to sit out here in the streets, not watch the games, only look at the box score and the final score without really diving in and seeing what the root of the problems are, I think it is unfair to Kelly Harper.
No, I agree. And you know what, Ben? Recruits, like high school football recruits and high school basketball recruits, are not the only ones that have to be kind of like de-recruited after they sign. How about when you are recruited by the Army and you see the commercials and the recruiter's telling you, all the perks and all the positives and all the benefits of being in the Army, and then you sign that dotted line, and then basic training comes around. Some of the other things come around. You're like, whoa, they didn't tell us about this on the brochure. They didn't tell us about this during our recruiting meeting. So there's other people that have been through that process too. the de-recruitment process. And I think it's one of the hardest things that a coach will have to deal with, because you can't get around it. Like, you can't avoid it. Like, you can avoid having a dual threat quarterback run your program. That's cool. You know, if that's not your style, cool, whatever. You can win with a pro style quarterback. You can avoid bench pressing inside your program and still have guys with strong chests and shoulders and all that. There's things you can avoid and still achieve your goal. You can't avoid the de-recruitment process. And I think the coaches who are the most honest during the recruiting process have to de-recruit less. I've never sat through a Jeremy Pruitt pitch, but I would imagine that he doesn't have to hot sauce and chest bump and you know, do too much overselling to the point where when someone gets here, they're like, wait a minute, this is nothing like, 3 months ago or 6 months ago when I was being recruited.
I think Rick Barnes is the perfect example. And Rick Barnes has spoken about this publicly. Kim English, the assistant coaches, have done the same thing. And they truly mean it when they say it to the press, to the media, to the public. They're not just saying it to make themselves look good, but they always say that during the recruiting process, they are upfront with the kids. They tell them every single thing there is to know. That way, when they get here, they are not surprised by anything. They have them talk to everybody that is involved with the Tennessee basketball program. That way, once again, once they get here, they are not surprised by anything.
It just makes it easier for yourself when you do it that way. I mean, it really does. It just makes it easier for yourself. The de-recruitment process, so important. And I've told the story. I told the story before on the show that I remember Coach Fulmer telling one player, we were in a group setting during the summer in 2003. It was a freshman, like an orientation class with Coach Fulmer. He was like, guys, recruiting is over. Time to get to work. Recruiting is over. You just knew right then, you're not just going to call up the head coach when you want to. You can schedule a meeting and he'll fit you in, but you're not just going to walk up to his office and talk to him whenever you want to. When a recruit calls a coach, I don't know if you've ever been around a coach, but when a recruit calls a coach, that coach will stop what he's doing immediately. Will stop in his tracks. Will stop what he's doing immediately. Like, I've seen that with my own two eyes. And he'll leave the room and talk to a recruit. One of the funniest things is when Coach Azani went from Tennessee to the Bears and the Bears to the Broncos, one thing he had to get used to is not always needing to be right next to his phones in coaches' meetings. Because there's not a recruit calling you in NFL coaching meetings. But in college coaching meetings, if a recruit calls, that coach will step out. It could be during prep versus Alabama or versus Florida that week. But someone you have high on your board calls you, sorry, I got to step out. Coaches text. Excuse me. They text during those coaching meetings because they're talking to a recruit. And the coach understands that. It's not like one of those situations where like you're in a classroom or you are at a board meeting at your job and you wouldn't dare text or talk on the phone while your boss is at the front of the room talking. Like, you wouldn't do that. But in this business, it's understood you have to do it because you got to recruit. The recruits, they run the show during that period of time. But you a freshman, try to call the coach during the meeting. Red button, text, I'll call you back. I'm busy. Schedule an appointment with Myra. Just the way it works. But de-recruiting is man, so important. And I think that's why it's a big reason why coaches fail, why they succeed, why they don't have transfers, and why they do have a ton of transfers.
Yep, because they are not genuine during the recruiting process, in my opinion. I think being genuine during the recruiting process leads to not having to de-recruit as much. Because when you lie during the recruiting process, you have more of an unrealistic standard to hold yourself up to, and it makes it nearly impossible to de-recruit said player if you have lied to them throughout the entire process and said things to just get them to campus. And that was kind of the point I was trying to make when I mentioned Rick Barnes, until Judge decided to walk up and get a sip of water, and I cut myself short so nobody would hear him slurping it up for 30 seconds, it felt like. But Rick Barnes, they tell Josiah Jordan-James, they tell Keon Johnson, they tell Jaden Springer, all these recruits that have come in, the moment they step foot on campus, they know everything that they are going to experience as a Tennessee basketball player. And that is the truth. That is not just something that they are saying to make themselves look good. Everybody that they are going to interact with, their role on the basketball team, Rick Barnes is planned for them on the court, in the weight room, in the classroom. It's already mapped out for them. They weren't promised anything in recruiting, which is the biggest component to, in my opinion, to not having to de-recruit somebody. That doesn't exist with Jaden Springer, Keon Johnson, Corey Walker Jr., even E.J. Anasicki. Those guys weren't promised anything in recruiting.
That they couldn't be delivered.
Yes. But I'm more so speaking of like guaranteed playing time. That's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind. Jaden Springer has not been promised a starting position on Tennessee's basketball team for next year. Whereas a coach like Butch Jones, those are the type of things that he does just to make sure he gets that 5-star. Or I don't know this for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if Holly Warlick went to that length to get some of those McDonald's All-Americans on campus. So I just think being genuine during the recruiting cycle, that way Jaden Springer, Keon Johnson on April 16th, they know everything they need to know about what they are going to step into when they arrive in Knoxville. You don't have to de-recruit them as much because they already know what to expect.
The same things you say to someone to get them to do something you want them to do needs to be the same things that you do after you get them if you want them to keep doing what you want them to do. So in this example, talking about college athletics, coaches, the same things that you have said to a recruit to get him to come to your school or her to come to your school needs to be the same things to make sure they don't leave after they get there. Can you do that? If you can do that, then good, cool, whatever. If you guarantee someone a starting job and you can follow that up, then, hey, go for it. I've heard stories about Brent Schaefer being promised to be the first black quarterback to start as a freshman. I heard that was part of the deal. And guess what? It happened. We can start you the first play and take your butt out and honor our promise. Now, the promise wasn't that he was going to start and play the entire game. The promise was allegedly that he would start. He started, but then Ainge came in the next series because they were rotating against freshmen at that point of the season. But anyways, I'm with you. Kelly Harper, be all right. I want to see us get a point guard.
I'm not worried yet on Kelly Harper.
No.
There has been nothing that has happened that has made me kind of raise my eyebrows at her. I did initially when the two guards transferred, but now in hindsight, I'm not raising my eyebrow at Kelly Harper. I'm truly not.
865-255-03. Swain Event. Be right back.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Do you want a custom themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Then look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. All of their bottles and tumblers are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the tumbler market. New this year are their stemless 12-ounce tumblers, perfect for repping your team while enjoying your favorite wine. They also have new 3-in-1 jackets to use as a koozie for a can or bottle, or you can pop a lid on it and use it as a 12-ounce tumbler or coffee cup. Be sure to check out everything Game Time Sidekicks has to offer at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Game Time Sidekicks, helping fans show your colors and carry your team with unique gear you will actually use. With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Eight 865-255-03 is our telephone number here to the Swain Event. Hope you're having a great morning. Let's go over here and take a look at the text box this morning. Coach SAJ says Coach Pruitt seems to be a good disciplinarian. Swain, do you think he is handling the recruitment well? From the looks of it now, I think so. We don't have a ton of guys transferring. And when they do transfer, they're not saying like, oh, what I expected was something different than what I got. Because I think in most cases, the root of disappointment is when your reality doesn't meet your expectation. That's what I think. I think when you go into something and you have these expectations and then your reality does not meet them, yeah, you're disappointed. Like if I know by looking at the weather report that on Friday it's going to rain, and it rains, okay, well, I expected it to rain, so I'm not all that disappointed. I mean, I wish it wasn't, but like I'm not shocked. I'm not thrown off. But when the weather report says it's going to be sunny tomorrow and it rains, like I'm more disappointed because my reality did not meet that expectation. And so like when you come into a situation as a student athlete and you have this expectation to either play early or have this because the coach the coach had promised that it was going to happen and it doesn't happen, of course you're going to be extremely disappointed to the point where you're going to either want to leave or you can't trust anything the coach says from that point on. This is like I'm putting my body on the line. How in the heck can I trust you if a simple thing like playing time or a simple thing like, hey, man, we'll let you go home or just whatever promise that is made. If you can't honor that, how in the heck can I allow you to have my career in your hands? Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. And you don't get that buy-in, that 100% buy-in that it takes. You hold something back. Your coach tells you to run through a brick wall, you do it. Because you're 100% bought in. You believe him. You trust him. You know he has your back. But if you start off the relationship with a little small white lie like that, you'll get some guys holding back a little bit. Swain, is Ben's dancing skills on the level of Elaine's on Seinfeld? I watched some Seinfeld growing up.
I'm currently watching Seinfeld.
I don't remember Elaine dancing too much though, and I can't joke too much because I'm not a dancer either. So,
No, I am a terrible dancer. I got a little Millie Rock in me though.
Ms. Swain said horrible. What, huh? Elaine is horrible. Oh, I thought she was talking about me because, I be getting down like Chris Brown dancing.
I saw you dancing with Grandma at my wedding.
And Usher. I got dance skills like those guys. Not really. Maryville Mark says if Kelly Harper doesn't fix the 23 turnovers a game average, we are not beating the good teams. Our players don't value the basketball.
I think they do value the basketball. I just don't think they're very good basketball players.
Well, I don't think last year they valued the basketball. There's no way you value the basketball and you are turning the ball over 23 times. That's not possible.
That they did not turn over 23 times a game. It was 17.
There's no way.
Not that that's a great number.
But there's no way, Ben, you can sit here and make a case for this team valuing the basketball when you average that many turnovers a game.
I just don't think they have a lot of talent. I mean, I think it's as simple as that. Now, Jordan Horston, that is the big concern. But as I said earlier, I think hers will self-correct to a certain extent. She will have to put a lot of work in and value the basketball more than she does. But I think as she becomes older, more experienced, just like with Josiah Jordan-James and Santiago Vescovi, we give them the benefit of the doubt because they were freshmen. I think the same can be said for Jordan Horston, that as she gets older, more mature, becomes more of a college point guard and not somebody who is relying on her athleticism and natural ability like she did in high school, and she learns the position from Kelly Harper, who, as we mentioned earlier, knows the position like no other, few others. I think it will somewhat self-correct. But she will have to put in work in because she turned the basketball over a ton this season, more than she should even as a freshman. So I think there's a little bit of work to be done and a little bit of correction that will take care of itself, if that makes sense.
I think talent has a little to do with your turnovers at this level. Here's why. I didn't see our girls unable to dribble the ball down the court. I didn't see our girls dribbling the ball off their leg most of these turnovers. valuing the basketball is psychological. That is understanding that instead of making this one-handed pass across my body, I'm going to make a two-handed pass. I'm going to jump stop, and when I'm throwing the ball to the left side, I'm going to use my left hand. It is a decision. It is discipline. It is throwing the ball away from the defense instead of to the offense. It's ball placement. It's discipline. It's those things. I don't think that has much to do with talent. I think that's a decision that you make. And when you choose not to make would be a tougher pass, but you know it's the correct pass, because it's easy to just do a one-handed whip pass across your body. It's easy to do that. But it takes a little bit of discipline to jump stop, put the ball in triple threat, sweep the ball, throw it with your left hand because you're throwing it to the left side of the court, and then you throw it away from the defense. Or there's rules about throwing the ball in the paint. You know, you don't want to throw a bounce pass in the paint when you're trying to feed the post. You know, baseline, you want to throw a bounce pass, but when you're feeding the post and you want to throw the ball to the paint area, you want to use an air pass. There's rules to the basketball game for passers, and when you don't follow those rules, that is saying you don't value you don't value the basketball enough to follow those rules. And I think talent has a little to do with this team averaging 17 turnovers a game, because there was times when I would watch us play on offense, and I'm like, why would you pass the ball to her? The defender's right there.
Yes.
That's not talent. That's a decision.
And you know what's also behind that? Immaturity.
But that's not talent.
Correct. I don't think it's all talent, but I think having better basketball players would help with the turnovers. Like I don't like Ray Burrell is a perfect example to me. I don't think she just goes out there and is just like legitimately careless with the basketball on purpose. I just think she plays out of control, and if and I'm not referring to you when I say you and what I'm about to say, Swain, but if you watched the Lady Vols this year instead of looking at the box score, if you watched from game 1 to the last game they played, you saw Ray Burrell improve in terms of playing within herself. I mean, you truly did. Even Jordan Horston, it was a roller coaster, but from game 1 to the last game, you saw her improve within herself. And so I think that they will kind of autocorrect as Ray Burrell continues to improve, as Jordan Horston continues to improve. I mean, Zay Green and Jasmine Massengale are gone. Jessie Rennie didn't play a ton, so I'm trying to think of other guards
improve physically, improve their skill set, improve physically. Are we talking about
mentally?
Improve as far as watching the film and understanding how to value the basketball better.
Just improve mentally. I think turnovers are talent and mental. Because
I think Mayor Mark is right when he says that our players don't value the basketball, and I think it has little to do with physical talent. It's more of the discipline and the value that you pick up on when you watch the film. And I've been to a Lady Vol practice, and they count the turnovers during practice. During either a segment or a period of practice, they count the turnovers, and they run for those turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
They run for those turnovers. They'll do free throws, and if the free throws is not at a correct percentage for the team, they run for those free throws missed. And so that's how you build discipline inside of your program with turnovers. Yes, you're going to have to get players who are better decision makers, and sometimes you can help them become better decision makers, and sometimes they just have it. When they come in and they just have the natural instinct of being a point guard, being a ball handler, making good passes, things like that. But Jordan Horston is the best one-on-one player on our team, ball handler. She can go create her own shot. She has an array of moves around the basket. She's the best ball handler. She can get from the top of the key versus the defender at the rim better than anybody else on the team. But her decision-making is not great because of a number of factors. She's young, but when you talk about talent, she's probably one of the most talented players on the team.
But she's like the only one. It's kind of my thing. I mean, Kelly was very limited in her options off the bench.
But
I think as they.
But I'm saying turnover, your value of the basketball or the football has little to do with talent.
I guess what I'm caught up on when I read the question, or not the question, but the statement that our players don't value the basketball. I understand what that means in basketball terms, in terms of they turn the basketball over a ton. But in terms of they don't value the basketball, to me that seems like it comes off to me as like they don't care about the basketball. And I don't think that was the case. I just think that as they become better basketball players, it will autocorrect itself.
But that's not caring is different than not valuing the basketball. Because you care, because you work hard, you do the off-season conditioning, like you want to be good. But you haven't understood what valuing the basketball truly means. Like you, in certain situations, just call a timeout. When you double team, call a timeout instead of trying to break through the double team and turning the basketball over. I got a good example for you. I think this will clear everything up. We got Jerry Garantano. We have Brian Maurer. We have J.T. Shrout. You got Harrison Bailey. Okay. And you have Holiday, Jimmy Holiday. Okay. You take those 5 quarterbacks. 2 of those we have not seen play quarterback at Tennessee. If you want to count the little spring practice here and there, you can do that, but I'm not. 3 quarterbacks we've seen play at Tennessee in games, okay? On physical skills alone and talent alone, who would you think is the best quarterback? Just talent alone, just watching all 3 of those guys, who would you think is the best quarterback just on talent alone?
Arm talent?
Talent. It could be anything. Just talent, the word talent.
Of the 3, Jared Garantano.
Why?
Because I think he has the best arm on a more consistent basis.
I would say Brian Maurer is the most talented. The reason why I think physically he's most talented is he can make every throw, and he can run. He can make guys miss. He's accurate when he wants to be, but he doesn't value the football. That's a decision. That's a decision to say, oh, there's 3 defenders. I'm going to throw it in there anyways. That has nothing to do with physical ability. That's mental. That's your decision to say, I'm going to throw this in here and not value the football. You're careless with the football. I think when you just look at just physical talent between Garantano, Shrout, and Brian Maurer is more physically gifted. He can run and throw it. But he doesn't value the football enough. Jared played when he played last season because he values the football the most out of all those guys. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
I get you. And before somebody comes at me about thinking JG is more talented than Shrout and Maurer, Maurer's completion percentage was terrible last year.
But that goes back to decision. Yeah, I think your decision to make throws affects your completion percentage. So if you have a progression of 5 different reads in a passing play, okay? So let's say ideally you have a good offensive line and you can send out 5 options. You can go 3 receivers, you can go tight end and a running back, okay? And let's say as soon as number 1 is open, you throw it to him. And it may be a short option, 5-yard game, boom, whatever. But number two, if you just wait a second longer, number two is streaking up the sideline or up the seam for a touchdown. But because you decided to take number one and it was quick and easy, you can throw for 70% completion percentage. I think that's a decision that you make. And
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, I understand, like, better players will have better handles and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a decision to value the basketball. It's a decision to value the football, and it's a decision to be more disciplined in doing that. And you can bring in Jaden Springer, and if Jaden Springer dribbles between his back, throws passes behind his back like Steph Curry in the finals a couple years ago when they lost to the Cavs and the ball goes out of bounds, we'll say the same thing about Jaden Springer. He doesn't value the basketball, but he would be one of the most talented players on the team. So I don't think talent necessarily correlates with your ability to value the basketball.
It doesn't. It's not a 100% thing. The other thing that I look at, though, is it's like everybody wants to just harp on the turnovers, which is fair. I'm not saying it's not. The turnovers need to be pointed out in regards to the Lady Vols. What I don't like is that people want to just write Kelly Harper off as if she is not going to be successful because they did not value the basketball, or they turned it over a ton this season, which, again, it is fair to point out the turnovers. Yeah. But let's also look at the assists per game and recognize that the assists per game went up while also scoring fewer points, which tells me that they were playing more team basketball this year than they were the previous year. And teams don't play good team basketball unless something is clicking with the coach. So that is kind of where I'm coming from, is that, yes, the turnovers are an issue. They need to be corrected, but let's not write Kelly Harper off because the team had turnover issues in her first season, when the turnover issues were an issue the last 4 seasons of the previous head coach. So that was also kind of where I was coming from, is that there were improvements in other areas that also reflect taking care of the basketball, valuing the basketball, that is in the confines of the offense that leads to points, and that is with assists per game. The best teams are usually the teams with the highest amount of assists because they are good at sharing the basketball. And I think a form of sharing the basketball is valuing the basketball. So it's kind of both sides of the sword, so to speak.
Like Vescovi. Vescovi is talented. He's talented. Does he have weaknesses? Yeah, he has weaknesses when it comes to, like, speed and agility, whatever, but he's talented. What's his biggest problem in turning the basketball over, Ben? How does he get himself in trouble?
To me, he tries to do too much.
But when he does turn the ball over, more times than not, what is he doing? Like, what does he do to get himself in trouble?
Trying to force a pass.
Passing the ball while jumping in the air.
Yes. Doing too much.
Dude, that's a decision. That LeBron James is probably the greatest athlete that we've seen in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Okay? But if LeBron James jumps the pass, he's going to turn the ball over too more times than not. So valuing the basketball, I think, is something that can be improved upon as Kelly Harper continues to make girls run for turning the ball over, building discipline there. Also, just the understanding of spacing and how the game is played, and Jordan Horston, the game is going to slow down to her. Like, when you're a freshman, man, it's like jumping out in the middle of 40 and avoiding cars. But as you get older, it's like walking through a school zone. It really is. You see things develop. You see things happen before it happens. Got a really good call from Neil Mafia. I want to say it was yesterday, and he asked, "When were the times when you broke the huddle and you lined up and you knew it was a touchdown before the play was snapped or before the ball was snapped?" And noticed, I mentioned plays from my junior and senior and sophomore year. I didn't mention any plays from my freshman year, except for one. the game slows down as you get older. And for Jordan Horston, who I think is the best one-on-one player at the perimeter, the game's going to slow down for her, and she'll make better decisions, and she'll take care of the basketball even more. Now, Ray Burrell don't care. She will drive the ball at your chest and put the ball.
She got better about it though.
Yeah, but she's really good at drawing fouls. She will drive right at you. But Jordan Horston, I was watching the drill. All the girls were doing one-on-one drills all the way to the basket, and man, Jordan got the spin move. She got behind the back, change the direction at the rim. Like she has an array of moves, but she's young. And whoever plays point guard, if she plays point guard more, then Kelly Harper being a point guard to the court, and she's going to explain to her when to take chances, when to one-hand pass it, when to bounce it. The defender is kind of close to your other option. It's probably not best to throw that ball to her, or it's going to get picked off for a layup on the other side. Like, that's going to come too. Swain event is fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Support your local businesses. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Ben McKee, Jason Swain here. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Swain event fueled by Dead End Barbecue, Top 100. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. Peace and love.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Home service problems occur, even at the most inconvenient times, like during a health crisis. And Tiller is always here to help you 24/7. As people are social distancing and staying at home on workdays, it's an easier time to take care of home maintenance items that you feel are necessary. And we've put new safety precautions in place, like wearing gloves, avoiding physical contact,